Happy Thursday. May the 4th be with you. Don't even have to remember what day it is of May. Isn't that kind of cool since this one's kind of special for all of us geeks? Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center Live, Midnight Express. This is a quick, run around the neighborhood of what's been happening the last couple of days. I haven't streamed in a couple of days because of allergies and busy and all that other stuff. But since the last time I've talked to you, the Writers Guild of America has gone on strike, and that has deep, deep, deep ramifications for all levels of entertainment, no matter what kind of stuff you're into, whether it be comic book movies, science fiction movies, Star Trek, Star Wars. This has the potential to really screw things up for a while. And unlike the last writer's strike, which would happen back in 2008, I think it was, there's a lot of other things that we did not have in existence when that last writer strike happened. We did not have AI. We did not have streaming. We did not have a lot of this straight to cable stuff. So the writers, and I can't blame them. They want their cut. They want their spots, and they want their protections. I just hope that this gets resolved sooner than later, because like I said, we're in the renaissance of a lot of really cool things going on. I mean, House of the Dragon got in under the gun because it was already done, but things like Star Trek, some of our, comic book movies, Superman, Legacy, some of the stuff that James Gunn's working on, we're already sitting on a 2-year wait on these things now. Can you imagine if a writer's strike goes and hampers all of this and adds more time to that? There's a lot of projects and a lot of IPs whose momentum could be killed outright on this one. But once again, as screwy as this is, I understand. I understand why they felt the need to push the envelope here. So I just hope it gets resolved. Let's say hi to the chat. How you doing, Damien? Good thing about Midnight Express is that they're really not that long, anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling right now. I'm trying not to do the whole Benadryl thing because I got to get up early enough to where I don't want to crash on Benadryl. So this is going to be a short one, so this should be right down your alley. Yes, please like and subscribe. Like the Point Diction Lounge. Subscribe to the Point Diction Lounge if you're just the first time here. And also subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. Still on track to be monetized at age 78. So help me get there 1 inch at a time. How you doing, Aaron? Hi, Rhea. Hitting the like button over here, too. Thank you. Yep, hit it, and hit it multiple times. Now, don't hit it multiple times. It's gonna be the unlike, so don't do that. How you doing, Alabaster? Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go. We're getting ready for a bunch of stuff. I sent a bunch of people to go, so I'm pretty sure that they'll tell me how good it was. I told them to go ahead and give me a review. I told one of the guys to give me my picture because when you go into a pre-screening, you get the picture and the QR code and all that. I like collecting those, for each time we get to see a movie. But I wasn't there this time around because I just had too much going on. But from everything I've seen, it looks like to be the best one of the bunch. So I will probably go see it on tomorrow night or Friday night. Probably tomorrow night. I really like seeing comic book movies, right as they come out. Unless it's a Thor movie, then it's a waste of time. I remember the last WGA Strike canceled Justice League Mortal movie. Yeah. That was a guy who did Mad Max, right? George Hill or George? Yeah. What's going on? Hope it gets with Toronto Petty. Hope it gets resolved soon, as it directly affects me because I work in the industry. Yeah, and then like I said, I know some people who work here in the industry as well. That because there's a lot of shooting that happens out in Vegas. I know some people in Canada that come to America for work that's going to be affected, and you got a lot of high level people who are just not going to the big name going around right now. Obviously, is James Gunn because he's kind of in a weird situation because he's a studio head technically, and he's a writer and he's a director. So he's actually has his hands in all levels of the industry. Yet he will not. I don't think he would ever cross the picket line because that would be a black eye, and I don't think he would. So everything he's working on is going to get held up. But there's a lot of guys in that situation that are like they're dabbling in both management and union. I'm a big union guy across the board. I think if allowed to, employers and corporations will do whatever they want until as long as there's no regulations. I am never for the weakening of unions. So to where I stand as far as the strikes suck. I don't like the disruption, but I understand that that is the tool that the collective bargaining legally allows a worker to fight his war, to fight their war. It is the most effective tool, and the threat of which is the most effective tool that a worker has in this game. In most cases, corporations have an inordinate amount of power. So, and their lawyers, they have infinite funds to lawyer up. And so, unions, I'm all for collective bargaining. I'm all for collective action. And like I said, it sucks sometimes because it disrupts my entertainment. But I understand if there weren't unions there, you have the other end of it, which is deregulation. And we're talking about movies and stuff, and that's there's still unions and safety and everything else that needs to be collectively bargained into that. But just think about on a broader scale. Every corporation is always trying to cut the dollar and cut corners, and sometimes that puts people at risk. And without unions there, you end up in a situation to where the corporation may not be liable and they don't have fear of liability. So when it comes to unions as a whole, now obviously there are some unions that I think make it, that take it too far and use their power and their leverage in ways that are not appropriate. But for the most part, without the unions, you generally would basically be able to, burn someone out like a light bulb and just replace them without consequence. And I don't think that's the American way, personally. So when it comes to unions, this Rider Guild thing, it directly affects all of us. But at the same time, I understand. It sucks. I wish it wasn't going down, but I understand. Ooh, yeah. They can, the writer's strike can really hurt James Gunn. They can hurt everybody. They can hurt Kevin Feige's Marvel. They can hurt Paramount, Star Trek. They can hurt everybody. It's across the board, and it's gonna suck for us geeks until this gets resolved. Oh, you're talking to Ray. Yeah, like I said, I was supposed to see it tonight, but I think I'm going to muster up enough energy to go see it. I got to start going to the movies when these movies come out. Still haven't seen Evil Dead Rise, which is lame on my end. I just got so much going down, and I'm missing my premieres. Like we get opportunities to see these movies, days in advance, sometimes weeks in advance, and I'm missing those. So I got to get back on the ball. Marv Wolfman tweeted, yes, I saw this. Supportedly, a Ben Affleck's Batman script as an offshoot of Full Circle. That's pretty cool to hear the co-creator of Deathstroke. Yeah. Everybody I know that is seen or heard or even read Ben Affleck's script for Batman says it's one of the best scripts they ever read. I hope someday he gets a chance to tell his story in some fashion. How you doing, Sean Franklin? Going to see Guardians with my daughter. 8. Oh, cool. Like I said, I'm probably going to go see it at around 11ish or so. Probably going to go, go like right after I get off. And what I'll do is I'll do an out of the theater review. Yeah. Okay. So he turned in the Superman script. From what I understand, there can be no action taken on it, though. I'm kind of. I haven't gotten the details of how. I'm pretty sure he's going to stick with the union, and I've heard that too, Hal, that it's been turned in, but I'm not quite sure if any action beyond it being turned in. So like right now, nothing that is a byproduct of that script can be done while the strike is happening. Somebody who's a union, or I know I actually have some people that are part of the Point Action Lounge audience and part of my audience that are in guilds, that are in unions. Let me know if I'm right or wrong about that. I know he had it, and I know he tweeted out that the script is done and that he's going to start entering in pre-production. But does this affect that? Because I know it didn't affect the. I know it's not going to affect House of the Dragon because House of the Dragon was further along in pre-production, but I'm not quite sure. For everything I heard, it would affect his Superman, but once again, I'm not as versed on. Even though I favor unions, I don't want to talk out of my ass and say something that is not representative of that union. No, I'm not going to. Sorry, Sean. It's just not my type of movie. I'm not one of those guys who, like a critic type, who goes to see all types of movies. I pretty much have narrowed it down for me for the last 25 or 30 years as science fiction, horror, fantasy, high drama, action, in that order. Mario Brothers just doesn't. It's just not up my alley. I might take a look at it when it hits streaming, but I'll for all of you who enjoyed it, continue to have fun with it. But it's just not my thing. Yeah. Pro union is, there are some unions out there who do some stupid stuff, but for the large part, unions are a good thing in my opinion. They're the American way. My job is non-union. Unfortunately, I work on locations as location support personnel. And by the way, there are some jobs that do well by their employees that always fight unions. But if you're a job that is paying and if your workers are happy and they don't feel the need to vote in a union, then that's one thing. But it's up to the employer and the corporation to make their case to their workers. The fact that you don't need a rep, you don't need to pay this guy. We're going to take care of you. And if that worker feels like he's safe and secure in that job, then it's up to that worker. But at least that worker has a choice, in the matter. I'm in an at-will state, but I hope unions become more present in different business industries. Yeah, and I'm in Nevada. Nevada's a right-to-work state, which basically means a right to fire you for anything they want to do. But I'm not. But even now, we have culinary. We have unions are starting to get stronger because of recessions and everything else, and COVID and all that. You need built-in protections, and plus, you get a better. I think you get a better quality of employee as a corporation when you have a union, because there's certain standards that are kept on both ends, both the corporate end and the worker end. It's just my opinion. Yeah, I did hear that one. I know a girl who works for IT, but she still supports. I don't know. See, and there's another thing is the WGA is the one that's officially on strike, but there's a lot of other groups that will support them, even if they're not on strike. Are they going to associate with the studios while their comrades are on strike? So, because it's a lot of animosity that can be built there. Boy, you are still good as hard to duck that. They should have gone on strike over that horrible movie. Yeah, man, this third film was really good. I rank it on par with the first Guardians. Cool. Did you hear that Australian Canadian writers will be going on strike too? It doesn't. You know why that doesn't surprise me? Because the things that are causing the strike are things that are going to affect the entirety of the industry. And remember, filmmaking is global. Movies are made in New Zealand, Australia, Europe. There's a lot of stuff in London. Expect one coming out of there. Just the issues that are being confronted right now are issues that are going to affect everybody. So a lot of people are going to be looking at, these current strikes to see what gets resolved and what precedent is set. Hopefully, whatever negotiations come from our Writers Guild sets a positive precedent for the rest of the people around the world. Because once again, if places all over the world where our movies are shot, if there's a strike in London, if there's a strike in Canada, you're going to have the same issues because your movies are still going to get jammed up, even if it's not an American union striking. It's movies are made everywhere. I mean, they're flying everywhere. Sets are made everywhere. So one strike somewhere could do just as much to jam up your entertainment as an American strike would. So let's hope it all gets resolved all at once. All right. I'm not sure. Two levels of not sureness on this. Not sure if they would want to, because it would still be associating with the studio, and it's kind of sensitive. B, I don't know because you still have to read the scripts. And I'm not, once again, you guys, if you are WBGA, if you are WGA people and you're going to know more than I am, the script is done. If it's turned in, are there still things that you cannot do with the script as long as there are as a strike going on? Like me sitting around and doing a table read, I would need the script to have an actor or actress audition. Is that legal now? That's a good question, dude. I don't know. How you doing, Jacob? Oh, it's not. It's not a. It's not a question who killed him. It's just where's his body. They've known who killed him for like 50 years. It's a Detroit. It's the Detroit mafia. Because they did not want him coming back into the union because they had when he went to prison, they had gotten a tighter control of the union than before he was out, and they eliminated a lot of middlemen, including him. You know, they didn't want him around, and he was doing things that got the federal government heat on the unions and the pension funds and everything else. So it was a cross between some members of the New York Mafia, Chicago Mafia, and the Detroit Mafia that were all tied in the United Auto Workers Union, and they were siphoning off of the pension plan. And he wanted to cut of that action, and they're like, not only do we not want to give you that money, you bring heat we don't need right now. So he had to disappear. Wait, no, they've known who's killed him. It's where is he at? Was he buried under the G in Meadowland Stadium or the old Meadowland Stadium? Was he made into dog food? That's always been the big thing about it. They've known who killed him. They were never able to prove it because nobody talked. But it's where was he buried? What happened? He's still missing. William, thought on NBC, Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyer plan to pay their staffers on the writer strike, just to raise the wages during the strike. Once again, there's going to be a lot of legalities about this, about what they can and can't do. Because they have writers that work for them. And I don't know if it's a matter of whether they have the money and could pay more. I don't know if legally, because they're employees directly of the studios. And they're producers, they're production, but they have bosses. As producers, I guess there's a contract between them over a certain amount of time that you could pay somebody. You may have a situation where beyond 3 weeks they get into the point where the studio would have to approve, and if there's a strike, I don't know if that's even possible. See, I know the basics of strikes and what they're going through and the reasons why. The nuts and bolts of the legalities. There's a lot of lawyers involved. With the studios, you have some of the best lawyers in the world involved, and these union dues get you. That's one thing. Another thing that's a good union. Get you legal protection. An individual paying for a lawyer could bankrupt them. A collective force, a union, using union dues to pay for that legal helps tremendously. So, but yeah, sorry guys, when it comes to union questions, as far as legalities, I don't have concrete answers for you. So I'm going to try to get some more. I was hoping by the time I got on here and talked about this that this would be avoided and over with, but obviously it's not. So there you go. Also, NBC will pay 2 weeks of salaries to staffers, while each late night host will pay the third week out of their own pockets. So, see, this is true. That means that NBC, which is Universal, has a good enough relationship with their people that they'll do that. And even though they are legally at odds because of the strike that affects us all or everybody, there's still goodwill there, which is good news because goodwill leads to negotiations. Let's get this over with. William Thought reported 2 hour, 20-minute runtime of Across the Spider-Verse will make the film one of the longest Western animated films of all time. Give it to me. I love it. Listen, if the movie is good and the flow is great, which if it's anything like the original Spider-Verse, 2 hours and 20 minutes is going to blow by like that, man. All right. Let's see. Should have been done about 5 years ago, if not 7 years ago. And the integration that this represents into the studio should have been done 10 years ago. So congratulations, Jim Lee. Jim Lee. Exactly. Better late than never, but wow, we would have been in a different world if it was done when it should have been. William Thorne and James Gunn turned in the first draft of Superman Legacy last week, just days before the writer's strike. The film will not be affected. I'm not 100. You could be right, Jacob. I don't know if that's the case, because once again, having a script turned in and having it being, it just doesn't sit there. People have to work with that script. Can anybody work with that script while there's a strike going on? I'm not sure. I don't know, and that's why I'm asking. So we are considered permittees, so we are part of the union, but not in the union, which means the union has limited scope. There's things that they can do sometimes to help protect you, but it's not a full-fledged member. Better than nothing, though, Toronto. Better than nothing. Yep. Yes. Do all this. Be sure to smash the like button and sub to Sci-Fi Center. And while you're wearing your cat orange whistling, and then go to my site. There you go. Thank you, Rhea. Can't wait to see Rhea in Vegas next week. The first scripted TV shows that will hit the writer's strike are the television soaps. Yeah, because they write on a weekly and daily basis. And television soaps are already literally almost gone as it is. This will really hurt them. William, I've been watching The Irishman, and the tale that the movie makes me wonder about the actual story. The Irishman is a little bit more of a composite story, though. They took some liberties in The Irishman. All right, they've created some characters that don't exist, and there's that is told from certain points of view and certain informants. But if you see other things that are based on it through other informants, then you kind of find something different. Nobody knows for sure how that wrapped up. The Irishman did a really good, concise job of it, but even still, because we don't know, and because no one's ever going to go on the record, he's not alive, that's for sure, because he'd be like 120 or some shit. Frank Sheehan took credit for killing Hoffa and Crazy Joe Gallo. I can suspend my belief on the first, but not on the second one. Well, Joe Gallo, if you ever get a chance, Rhea, if you haven't already, watch The Opera from Paramount. There's a making of The Godfather, because Joe Gallo, if I'm not correct, was the guy who basically cleared the path through the mob for them to be able to make the movie. Yeah, get a chance to watch that. The Ghost of Jimmy Hoffa would be a great story. Yeah, I know him walking around haunting the people that he killed or that killed him. And you know what they could do? They could bury them. They could, each person he kills ends up being transported and buried where he's at, so that wherever he's been all these years, that's where they're gonna be. That'd be cool. I like Margaret Robbie. She's a tremendous actress. She like you said, I'm never a big guy on saying, well, that person looks like the person, so that's that's the perfect person, because they can make Hollywood makeup can make anybody look like anything. But I like her. I think she's getting better and better as an actress, and that would be a good role for her. So I'm all for it. Damien, hell yeah, I need to watch Jack Nicholson movie from the 90s. Oh yeah, Hoppa. I remember that. Yes. That trailer is amazing. I don't know if I should play that trailer today. You know what? They're gonna send me the trailer that I get to show that won't get me struck down. So I'm gonna do that. All right. Joker and Penguin. How you doing, Jalen? I am doing okay. Okay, so you're done with all 8 seasons of Viking King. What did you think of season 8? I think season 8, the first 3 episodes of season 8, in my opinion, are some of the best that they ever did. The first 3.5 episodes, the first 3.5. Midway through episode 4, that's where it falls off. But what did you think of the series as a whole, and especially that last season? It's a long ass movie. I made it through that movie without having to pee, which that's going to be a badge of honor for me. Yeah, I'm definitely taking you to Sister Kim's when you get here because it wasn't open. I don't think it was open when you were here. I think it might have been. I'm not sure, but you're definitely going to go down there. They're going to take a lot of selfies in front of some loaded fries and yeah, Tromania. That's what I've been working on lately. I mean, obviously pre-comic book day, I got screwed on my pre-comic book shipment, so my pre-comic book day is going to be like it's gonna be gone. We got a bunch of other sales and stuff and giveaways and stuff that we're gonna do to make it kind of cool. But the actual pre-comics, because I was in between distributors, I missed the deadline. So I basically scrambled up to whatever I could. So we're still gonna have a pre-comic day. It's just not gonna be as big as it usually is, and that kind of is a downer because it's my favorite day of the year. It's more so than Black Friday. It's the most. I still hope we got a lot of people coming through. We're going to be still doing things to generate traffic and generate that brand new traffic because we still have stuff to give away. Because like I said, I love meeting brand new people, potential customers for the first time. So, but yeah, Joe Mania, we fly Lloyd Kaufman out next Thursday. As a matter of fact, he'll be out here. We'll grab him from the airport, put him in his hotel room, feed him Sister Kim's, unless he has different dietary plans. Because I can't wait to get him in front of Sister Kim's and have him give his review. I feel like I'm a part owner of that place, but like I said, I eat there all the time. I was their very first customer. I think I'm still their most prolific customer. And I look at my Instagram, I post it. And if I had it here with me, you guys would see it before I jammed it down my. So yeah, Chomania is going to be our weekend of Chomania, Friday and Saturday. We're starting to move tickets. We're starting to get everything set up. We're going to have a red carpet premiere. We have 3 brand new independent movies that have never been showed in Vegas and 1 world premiere that's never been showed anywhere. It's called Kill Dolly Kill. It's a sequel to a lady named Heidi Moore. She's going to be there in attendance. We're going to have some people there, take pictures. Got the red carpet all rolled out. Got that little thing behind us where it has all the logos. Whenever you see people posing and all that, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of Troma fun. So, and Rhea's coming. So great. Rhea gets everywhere, man. I love the Mob Museum in Vegas. It's so much fun there. Yeah, I have not been. I'm literally like 10 minutes away, and I have not been. I really want to go because I love the Mob. I love the history of the Mob, and it's pretty pathetic I haven't gone. Did anyone watch the Dune 2 trailer? Yes, I did. Looks exciting. Tried to watch the first one, but it made it like halfway through the movie before falling asleep. I'll try to rewatch it again. Yeah, Dune is not for everybody. It's a long movie with pacing issues. If you're not wowed by that type of thing, I am. So I loved it. But yeah, it's a long one. But the second one looks like it's way more action packed. So we're gonna be. Yeah, they definitely put Hoppa into some mixed mixers. He's under some stadium. The Meadowlands, either Tiger Stadium or the Meadowlands, one of the two. Wasn't bad. Like I said, I don't want to talk spoilers, even though it's been quite a while. We're on the House of Dragon, but I thought that they made some decisions that were, without spoiling Game of Thrones for everybody else who hasn't seen the original series, I thought they made decisions that were inconsistent with decisions that they made throughout the show. And I thought the quality of those decisions were not consistent with the quality of the decisions made throughout the show. And I'll leave it there until you guys have all seen it. I like Margot and pretty much everything I've seen her in. Her weakest performance may have been Amsterdam, but I can say I'm for almost everyone in it. Yeah, I heard that was a pretty weak movie. And she got nominated for Babylon. So yeah. Does Free Comic Day count as a charity for your business? I wonder how it impacts the bottom line. No, we pay for those. We buy them. We pay like 10 cents or a quarter or something like that. So no, we actually buy them. We pay the shipping. But what ends up happening is most of us come out on top because you're generating traffic, brand new traffic for your store, and most people don't come in and just grab a free comic and run. I mean, some people do, but a lot of times they sit, they talk with you. This is for many people who are participating in Free Comic Day. This is their first time in certain stores, even if they've lived there. They just haven't had the opportunity, and now they have the excuse to visit stores that are outside of their norm. So we usually do well. All of us usually do well in Free Comic Day and a lot of guys have artists and stuff that they that they bring out to do sketches and everything else. Sometimes I do that. This year, one of the byproducts of not being just a comic book store is that I was involved in a lot of stuff. We were involved in movie promotions. We were involved in, live events, wrestling events. We were involved in, Patrolmania itself is a big undertaking because it's all the logistics involved. So there's only so much bandwidth that is me to go around. One of the things that I am going to, I made a resolution to myself after May 12th and 13th, which is Patrolmania. I'm going to scale back the event level stuff for a while, not forever, but just for a good 3 or 4 month period, and just focus on strictly retail. My events do well and they bring me traffic and everything else, but for the most part, when it comes to this part of the operation, it's a one-man show, and wow, this one man is really exhausted, and I don't, I want to be able to put 100% into the things I got coming up and not be spread so thin. So after, and I think that didn't hurt pre-comic day because the situation was what it was. I was only able to get, a minuscule amount of books no matter what. But I think the energy going into this weekend is drained from something that's already happening next week, and I don't want to do that anymore. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Game of Thrones season 8 was good in my opinion because I enjoy it. I wasn't bored with it, but I prefer the final battle with the White Walkers for the final episode. Yeah, wow, and we had a packed house. We had about 80 people in my store. We set up our movie screening theater, and we were watching that. And once again, without spoiling, when you see that certain things are happening, it's his most intense episode. One of the most intense episodes they ever did, besides Battle of the Bastards. But when the ending happened, it was like it was like sitting in a room with a room full of people who bet money on the Super Bowl, and their team just kicked the winning Super Bowl or the winning field goal. It was great. It was intense. Dune was my cup of tea, but I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it. Yeah, it did a lot better than I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to tank hard, but it actually made some money in the theater, and a lot of people on streaming saw it. Decisions were made. Yeah. George R. R. Martin will most likely change the ending of his last book from the ending of the show. That will cause backlash from the fans. They'll be all right. All right, was season 8 Game of Thrones filmed during the pandemic or not? Well, I believe so. That's the reason why many people have a problem with it. No, season 8 was filmed before the pandemic. Season 8 aired in 2019, I think. Yeah, pandemic didn't happen until 2020. Yeah, because season 8 aired in when did Game of Thrones season 8 air? Game of Thrones season 8. I think it was 2018. Game of Thrones season 8. Yeah, premiered on April 4th, 2019, and concluded May 19th, 2019. So it was before the pandemic. Been watching Margot Robbie since her days on Neighbours and Australian TV. So I keep forgetting you're in the land down under. Can you hear the thunder? Yes, you should. Absolutely you should watch it. It starts out with a bang, and it's a great show. I didn't think there were any bad episodes in House of Dragon, and if you enjoyed Game of Thrones, you're gonna really enjoy House of the Dragon. And we did. You can check both the Point Extra Lounge and my channel. Each episode, except I think we missed one on my birthday episode, we did a review. We did a live review of each episode as it aired. Once Amazon drops Warhammer, it's over. Warhammer has much bigger lore and story than Game of Thrones, and Campbell in charge. Amazon's money, I don't see how they can compete. I can easily see how they can compete. Easily. There are certain things in Game of Thrones that you are not going to do or get in Warhammer. Warhammer has a massive following. It's going to get a lot of people to watch it, but it's not going to compete as far as like hurting Game of Thrones, or that even if millions of people watch it, it's not going to be the same. It's just a different market. There's a lot of sex appeal and things like Game of Thrones, a lot of violence and things like Game of Thrones, different sadistic violence. I mean, I know Warhammer has violence in it, but it's a different type of audience. Game of Thrones has become iconic for what it offers, and not to knock Warhammer, I just don't think that it's a competition between the two. So, yeah, I think Game of Thrones would be just fine. By the way, you got to let me know about the stream. Me and Max want to host for you before Trollmania, or it can be after. I'll get with you offline on that, Rhea. Heard any more chatter on the Flash? No, but I know someone who saw it, and I could pretty much, I pretty much know, pretty much what happens in the movie, and I'm still gonna go see it. Still gonna be. I don't even have to wait to go see that one because we're gonna premiere that one here. Yeah, you can watch House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon. Listen, the stain of the last, and it wasn't just season 8. It was only part of season 8. The first 3.5 episodes of season 8 are epic. That battle, dude. That episode 3 of Game of Thrones, episode 3 of season 8 of Game of Thrones is one of the best, probably in the top 5 episodes that they did the entire run. It's up there, but then it starts to fail. After that episode, that's where it goes down here for me. All right, Madeline Klein potentially screen tested for Superman Legacy. I guess that answers my question. When did she screen test for it though? So like I said, I don't know. I don't know how. I'll get some clarification on what they can do and what they can't do. Hopefully, by the time I get clarification, shit's over with. Yeah, but are they going to translate? Are they going to translate into TV? And it's not just the gruesomeness of Game of Thrones. Yeah, there's some gruesomeness in Game of Thrones, but it's the intrigue, it's the storytelling. I'm not knocking Warhammer by at all. I'm just making sure we understand that they're two totally different things. Some people will be into both, but nobody's leaving Game of Thrones for Warhammer, and I don't think anybody's leaving Warhammer for Game of Thrones. Hi, Bill. Everything is going all right. Like I said, I got about 6 more minutes left. Then I'm going to go eat my hamburgers that my mom made me. She loaded them up too, man. So yeah, everything's going good. I think House of the Dragon is great. So I mean, dude, Matt Smith in this is wow. And there are people in there who do an awesome job of making you hate them, and that is a testament to their characters. Yeah, the last half. Let's be fair. The last half of Game of Thrones was trash, in my opinion. All right, Viking King. Nice. Thanks for stopping by, man. Be safe, dude. What's on the menu tonight? Hold on. Let me show you. All right. Well, she's got them wrapped in foil and everything, so I can't really show you. And all the condiments. My mom makes these burgers. They're pretty. These actually look smaller on the screen, but they're actually pretty big and they're pretty thick. The way she makes them, like so when you go buy a hamburger, everything's already on them. My mom like gives me like 3 or 4 boxes of condiments, and then she gives me a lot so I can load them on there. And they're all separate, so I gotta work to put this thing together. It's kind of like a builder burger, but with stuff that she sent me. And her burgers are really good. I mean, they're not a 1.5 or 2 pound monster from Fat Burger, but they're pretty big. Like I said, the picture doesn't do them justice, but yeah, that's what's on the menu tonight. Is there really more people where you're at, William? Mole people? I don't get the question, Bill. Am I just not hip to know what you just asked me? Is there really mole people where you work, William? Oh, mole people. No, you're talking about for the Flash. Nah, there's just people that saw it. And then if you go online, you can pretty much there's spoilers all over online too. Let's see. Random, I know. Oops. I really enjoyed the Rings of Power, but it's far from perfect. Yeah, I mean, they took a shot. $500 million show though. Ray, I just watched your commentary with Zach yesterday. So happy you got your chance to talk with him. Yeah, Rhea, hobnobbing it. Nah, yeah, you and your brother. I saw you and your brother on there. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad I was able to contribute to that as much as I could. I wish I could have not got tickets because that wasn't even the issue. I just wish I had the open weekend to just be able to go down. But with so many things coming up, Free Comic Day, Showmania, Guardians of the Galaxy promo, we got a Fast X promo that we're about to give a crap load of tickets away. So I got to get ready for that promo. But yeah, I enjoyed watching a lot of that stuff on there. That was pretty cool. Like I said, I consider myself lucky to be able to be on the air as part of that leading into Zack Snyder's Justice League. They gave me my choice of where I wanted to pop in, and my favorite overall, my tied for Man of Steel, but my favorite overall achievement as far as the Snyderverse goes was Zack Snyder's Justice League. Not only because of the movie, but everything we as fans endured and fought for to get that done. I remember May 21st, 2020. And I was watching Chris Wong Swinson. We were watching it live. We were watching the announcement live. We didn't know. We all had a good feeling that maybe, but we didn't know. We were just being hopeful. And I remember when he turned that screen around and Zack Snyder's Justice League was on there coming in 2021. I remember the collective relief and the collective celebration that all of us felt. And to be honest with you, I really miss that. Because it does. I hope the one main thing, if Zack Snyder ever does anything with DC again, one of the byproducts of it, and one of the things I hope come from it, is that it brings a lot of us back together. Because a lot of the last couple of years, I think our community has fed on each other for the wrong reasons, and because we haven't had our story. We haven't had the continuation. We haven't had that ending that we could all rally around. So hopefully, some way we get that. So I'm glad that's why I chose Zack Snyder's Justice League for my part of Full Circle, because like I said, I really, really, really think that's a special movie. All right, turkey burgers with a fried egg and provolone cheese and a lettuce wrap from Fat Burger. Ooh, wow. I haven't had their turkey burger. They have an Impossible Burger that I'm told I need to eat. People that live under the city. Oh, we have people that live under bridges here in Vegas. As a homeless community. Is that what you? Oh yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. What she's talking about is there's drainage areas, the old drainage areas, and some of the new ones that they've built throughout because it's a desert. So we have these huge. It's like the Morlock tunnels in X-Men. They're huge and they are big, and you could live in there for people. Some of those people have been living there for years, and they're deep, and they're and it's kind of safe. I mean, it's dangerous because when we have flash floods, you got to get out of there because that's where the detention basins go. But when you're living in a city that has 110-degree weather at certain points in the month, it's shade. And when you're dealing with rain, light rain or super cold, it's somewhere where you can get out of it. But yeah, the old people, is that what they call them? Yeah, we just call them homeless. Oh, okay. I thought he was your brother. I was looking for the resemblance. So yeah. All right. I have to clear that later. But that, not really. I mean, lettuce strap, bro. Yeah, we listen, guys. What didn't we bring this up before? And I didn't I put this on the ban list? Lettuce wrap burger. Just buy the bread. Come on now. Yes, Ray does have a channel. Ray, put your channel in the chat. I think the Flash might help with bringing the community back together after disunity we've gone through that you mentioned. I do. Listen, there's a certain segment of us that are just not going to come back to the reservation. All right, and they're never going to be satisfied one way or another. They're just going to be that way. The majority of us are moderate. We know we're not going to get exactly what was laid out, but some resolution makes it a lot easier to trust DC. It's going to be really hard for a lot of people on any level of fandom, whether it's hardcore geeks like myself or the general audience, to be like, yeah, this sounds great, but so did that last thing you guys did, and you just left me hanging. And James Gunn and DC Films in general is going to have a clear path, in my opinion, from what the Flash represents. If it's successful, if it bombs, and damn, that's it, it's over. But if it does as well as I think it could do, and people connect with Supergirl, people connect with Flash, people connect with Fossil Batman, people can reconnect with Ben Affleck, then if you don't want to continue it, I understand. But resolve it somehow, some way, just for the sanctity of your overall product, just to show that when we associate that DC and that WB to something, we can associate it to a company that resolves things. Because if you can't resolve things, whether you inherited them or not, now you're asking me to pay new money when we just witnessed what you did with old money. It's in their best interest and not for any particular fandom. You don't have to do it for the Snyder Bros or anybody else. Do it for the sanctity and momentum of your own product going forward. So I hope it does happen. But me, I'm open to anything. I told you, you just give me an ending to the story. Sock puppets, claymation, don't care. If you want to put it in a comic book right now, fine. Do a 12-issue maxi series and sell the hell out of it. And then years down the line, when when it was those sales, are legendary and third and fourth printings, and it creates a cult of its own. Then we can revisit and say, you know what? Just like any other comic book movie that has a following, let's make a movie out of this or something like that. But right now, you put that ending out there in a multi format with variant covers and everything else. You hype the hell out of it. I would take the resolution in a comic book form right here and now. If Jim Lee would have walked up and say, hey, you know what? I just took the chair. I'm running DC right now. We're gonna finish the story arc in a comic book. I'd take that in a heartbeat. And if I got anything else and got it in any other format beyond that, that's cool. But give me that ending in that comic book in a heartbeat. I'm taking it. Bread is bad when dieting. Come on, you should know me. Yeah, but you guys are like in the gym though. You guys have abs and stuff. So what are you gonna need a diet from? You guys got good genes. Remember we talked about this Sunday that no amount of good eating can fix me. I don't think you can unslee stack me. I'm not going to look like ACS at 45. And that Brent guy that won the Full Circle Prize is like a bodybuilder. Listen, all you guys that are bodybuilders and your profile pic is you with all your muscles, I'm watching you. All right? I'll find some voodoo magic to undo all of your gifts or something. I don't know. How you doing, Draga? Draga. The Flash is going to be one of the highest gross. Yeah, I could be wrong, but it feels like a movie that could approach a billion. It just feels like it. Yeah, and I think that's a good bet. All right, guys, that is it. That is the Midnight Express. I actually went way, 7 minutes over what a Midnight Express is. You'll be seeing plenty of me throughout the week. I'm going to do a special stream for Free Comic Book Day. I am going to do a stream for we're going to do our Star Trek weekly stream. We are going to do our overnighter. I couldn't do one last week because I had a live event. We're going to do our overnighter. I'm going to have some guests that are exclusive to Chomania. I'm going to have some of the directors on from some of the premieres, and I am going to try to get Uncle Lloyd on himself, depending on what his schedule is. But once again, if he's not on the overnighter, trust me, he'll be on a stream because he'll be sitting right next to me here in Vegas. All right, thank you guys for being the best part of this whole geek experience. And oh wow, I went that whole stream without cropping my screen out. I'm quite pissed because I hate the way that looks. Well, at least tonight wasn't a special background or anything. This is just my generic Midnight Express screen. So, all right, guys, get some sleep, get some food in you. What I'm about to do, and I will not see you tomorrow night if I go see Guardians of the Galaxy. What I may do is I may do a right out of the theater response at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Until absent that, if I don't go, you'll see me tomorrow. If I do go, you'll see me on Friday. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you later.